A few of these self-seeded in the field next door a few years back. The seeds presumably coming from the bird feed that I put out during the winter. So last year I picked the sunflower seeds out of the mix and gave it a go. Germination was astonishing. A couple of days after sowing you could see the first signs. Within 10 days, lots of seedlings. Growing sunflowers in plug trays isn't an option. They put on top growth rapidly and the stems become entangled. I planted them out along this bank, though last year growing conditions weren't ideal, cold and wet. Hopefully this year will be better. Also, because I removed them from the plug trays early before they got a chance to become too entangled, the roots didn't get a chance to develop fully. So my usual method of planting plugs using the small earth auger and battery drill probably broke all the roots. Perhaps too much watering as well, as some of the stems started to split. It was all a bit experimental, but that's fine. I like trying things. This year I'm sowing into pots. Possibly these are a bit small, but they'll be easily potted on. Last year the germination rate was 100%. I kid you not. I'd think that a good soaking triggers germination in all varieties of seed. I'll know within a week whether they've germinated, so any of these pots that haven't been successful, be pretty easy just to pop another seed in. Temperatures in the grow room are generally above 10 degrees C now. It's got really bright grow lights. The Tapo temperature sensor indicates that humidity is around 90%. So assuming that these sunflower seeds are as viable as those last year, I'm confident they'll germinate. Temperatures in this polytunnel have been above 20 degrees C today, so as soon as those sunflowers have put on reasonable growth, I'll put them in here to grow on. The sunflower seeds that were sown into the plug trays were put straight into the polytunnel here. They were sown on the 18th of February and by the 28th of February they'd broken the surface. I've successfully germinated and grown sequoia in the past, and this is how I do it. Are the eucalyptus germinating? Stephan's globulus are, and also one of Stephan's ovata. You really can't underestimate the importance of good fresh seed. I've said previously that globulus are on the cusp of being viable here at Clonsnochta on the west coast of Ireland. Though another factor for the high failure rate this winter will have been the malnourishment, which I've also mentioned in the previous video. Some of them have survived though, and putting out some nice new growth despite the earliness of the season. I'm led to believe that Clonsnochta, Irish Gaelic, translates into English as snowy meadow. There's some ambiguity about the word clon, the way it's spelt. Perhaps it's a bastardized spelling of the word clon, which definitely means field or meadow. Snochta absolutely translates directly as snow. Anyway, it's definitely a frost hollow. Temperatures here are always below those of the Coolmean weather station, which is at the top of a ridge about 3 kilometres to the south. This is a north-facing slope as well. I'm sure survival rates would be better on a less exposed south-facing slope, though I'm hopeful. This is a globulus, and as you can see, some good new growth on this one. During the past couple of years, I've developed a relationship with a forester who has a south-facing slope, though it's wet, like much of the west coast of Ireland. Globulus will tolerate wet ground. These are pretty scruffy after the recent gales, frosts and snow, though I'm hopeful they'll recover. From the research I did a while back, Eucalyptus globulus is the most commonly planted eucalypt in the world. If you buy eucalyptus honey from the supermarket, it's very likely that it will have come from Eucalyptus globulus plantations in Brazil or South Africa. There are large Eucalyptus globulus plantations in northwest Spain. 50% of their harvest goes to pulp, so it's very likely that the toilet paper you use contains Eucalyptus globulus fibre. Though Eucalyptus globulus is also good sawn timber, historically used for ship's keels, planking and decking. From sowing seed to being plantable, globulus takes around 12 weeks. That's providing that the seed that's sown is good quality. So thanks, Stefan, birthday presents in the post. My hope is that Ireland will be able to grow Eucalyptus globulus to maturity and harvest the seed. Trees grown from that seed should be hardier and more acclimatised. Globulus is a very fast growing tree, 10 years to harvesting, and during that time you can produce honey. Like all eucalyptus, globulus is excellent firewood. Temperatures just above the compost of these seed trays have been above 20 degrees C today. Though I'd say that in order for Paulownia to germinate, they'd require a temperature above 20 degrees C, ideally above 23 degrees C, constantly, day and night. So we'll just have to wait and see. Paulownia definitely aren't going to be an invasive species here in Ireland. Thanks for taking the time, always appreciated.